day and welcome to this Focus on Special with myself, David Rademer. We're here at the Gauteng Legislature where the MEC of Finance is tabling the Gauteng Midterm Budget Policy Statement for the year 2024 leading to 2025. Let's listen in and find out how this adjusted budget is affecting the different departments. What is your growth trajectory for Gauteng look like? And then let's follow that up with, does your adjusted policy speak to that growth trajectory?
Well, there are a lot of variables to be looked at before we firstly make a determination in terms of the rate at which we want to grow. But when you look at the trajectory, how we want to transition from where we are to the next level, there are both internal, what I'll say internal or rather objective and subjective factors. And some of those factors include the monetary policy, the macroeconomic policy choices that are made, investment in infrastructure, electricity, energy, supply of reliable energy, the state of our roads and all that. And that's why the policy statement, though it's just a minor adjustment, seeks to address some of those issues which are within our purview.
Do you think you've played it safe with adjustment policy, considering the cost of inflation and all that? I think you pointed it out, some of the external factors that Gauteng is faced with, including the reduction in our GDP. So do you think you're playing the statement a little bit safe?
I think we tried our best to balance things, and as you say, there has been positive developments in other spheres, including on the inflation, on the repo rate, and all those are dependencies of our economy and are beyond our purview and our control. But what is in our purview and control, we have been able to the best of our abilities, invest and direct resources to drive us towards recovery.
You also mentioned you're not going to do any cuts in employment, considering that some of the budget cuts is trickling down from the national government. How would you balance out the current allocations you've made to some departments, like you've made 600 million to the health department and 300 million to the education department? So how would you balance that trickle down that's going to eventually put some additional strain to your budget?
Well, we had to look into our own funding because there's three sources of funding, as you know: equitable share, conditional grants, and own revenue. So we had to tap into own revenue, which is only 5% of our budget, and that's why we want to be aggressive in increasing that revenue. We believe we will be able to do it because in the last 5 years we're able to raise about 36.8 billion, and we've identified weaknesses, and we think if we can address those weaknesses we'll definitely be able to increase it decisively.
And then lastly, MEC, I just want to find out, you focused on two solar projects to combat our energy source of our energies. Is that to counteract the Eskom debt that you're also trying to bring some alleviation to?
Well, those are projects that are aligned with the work that Eskom has been doing. That's the first thing. As you know that energy is the competence of national government and provincial government. We take interest in it because it affects the economy, and we're the biggest economies, and we can't be helpless. But secondly, these are private sector initiatives and investment, and we are supporting and creating a conducive environment for them to be able to implement these projects. But they will come in handy for the grid. And as you know, there's no grid for Gauteng or grid for that and all that. When it comes, the whole country benefits.
I'm reflecting on the budget that MEC Miele tabled today. How would you distribute that throughout the fiscal year?
Thanks so much, Devald. So you know the adjustment budget is really to deal with unforeseen and unplanned for instances. So we have got a we supply interim sanitation to 2 municipalities in informal settlements. That's the municipalities in the south, so all the Sedibeng municipalities, the municipalities in the west. So those are the district and local municipalities. And what had happened was there were changes on the conditional grant. So the department used to be able to use the conditional grant to be able to fund that interim sanitation. But there were changes on the conditions and we were no longer allowed to use the conditional grant for that. We had to then go to Treasury to request funding for the interim sanitation. So it's really to deal with that. We have put our case forward, of course, like all departments, for what we required over the medium term, and that we will still engage with Treasury so that by the time he tables the main budget, we will be clear about what will be allocated and what we'll have available to spend for the next 3 years.
Do you think that MEC Mayele played it safe with this budget policy, considering all the budget cuts that puts more pressure on the Gauteng coffers?
Look, I think he was very responsible in the way that he drafted the MTBBS. Remember, the midterm budget policy statement is really to give a reflection to all stakeholders. That's the markets, business, investors, our regulators, etc., about what are some of the policy considerations we have to take into account going forward for our main appropriations. So I think he was very responsible. You don't want a province such as Gauteng to cause shocks in the system. We, like all other provinces, are going to suffer setbacks. Ours are much greater than the rest. I think you would have heard just on if you look at the detail, just how much we're losing just on the population adjustments. So that already can create a bit of apprehension. It can create a bit of shock, but I think he was able to, in a very responsible manner, demonstrate that while these are the cuts that we are going to experience, this is the plan going forward from provincial government as a whole, not only Treasury. Of course, Treasury is going to spearhead it, but he has said to all departments what departments need to be able to do. I think all departments have to come on board now with what do we do for alternative sources of funding. He spoke about triple Ps. There's other sources of income outside of the fiscus. I mean, we've been speaking about it for a long time, but we haven't really explored it. And I think given the pressures that we have and the fact that our budgets have been cut, the different types of the impacts because of the different types of cuts that we're experiencing, it means that those alternative sources of funding, we've got to explore them and we've got to secure them. And also look at creative ways of funding our priorities.
We're looking at the new budget allocation presented by MEC Mayele. He has allocated 260 million rand to road and transport. I just want to get your understanding as to how you're going to how you're planning on distributing that funds allocated.
Yeah, this is an adjustment period for budget adjustment by the provincial treasury, and unfortunately for us, we did not get more. We needed around 180 million for the department roads and transport and logistics to assist us in some of elevated priorities. But unfortunately for us, we only got 10 million for goods and services. The 250 million you heard him in his speech, it's prescribed, it's going straight to the Gautrain Management Agency. And we are hopeful that in the new year, financial year, we will get some of the monies that we need. It's unfortunate for us as a province that the budget cuts that are done nationally has really affected us, and us in roads and transport department. We are really highly affected. We'll have to tighten the belt. We are now engaging in various initiatives to look at inefficiencies within the system, look at where can we get money within the department itself, and we are working hard to make sure that we get those monies in different areas where we work, and also ensuring that we promote efficiencies within our system and within the department. So it's quite a difficult one, and we understand MEC Mayele where he finds himself in, But it's just to tighten the belt a bit. I think it's what we also do in our families. The economy is not doing very well, and we need to work together to make sure that we change the status quo.
Does this open the door for private sector to get involved when it comes to the bigger projects, so you can shift your resources to the goods and services?
Yes, tomorrow we are excited. Tomorrow is the first of its own kind. We are launching Adopt a Robot. This is a partnership with the private sector in Gauteng. When I came in 2022, I did a hashtag Agalerona. It's a Tswana word that means build with us. And we've been working hard as a department, identifying different key stakeholders, sharing with them the challenges that we have as a department, but also the challenges that we have as people of Gauteng. And you know that we have been experiencing high theft and vandalism on our road infrastructure and road furniture, including the traffic lights. And now this is one of those initiatives that we are rolling out. It's exciting, it's one of its own kind, and we are very thankful to the private sector that we are working on this together. I know that there's a whole lot of more of private companies in Gauteng coming to our department to say we are wanting to partner. So we'll spread it out throughout the province. We did a meet and greet together. We're signing off the MOUs. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see the private sector in our province also wanting to come work together with government to build a better Gauteng. And I think we will be doing that tomorrow. We'll be launching the projects. And I hope that communities will also assist us. This is not only to develop programs or projects, but it's also taking responsibility for the infrastructure that is built by government. It's a lot of money to waste as and when people steal and vandalize our infrastructure. So it's our money. It affects the economy. It affects all of us. When there's traffic congestion, we all get affected. And we don't want a stagnant economy, surely. We want to get back to work on time. When people get stuck in traffic, their health also deteriorates. So it's a socio-economic issue that we needed partnerships with our communities, with the private sector, with the law enforcement agencies, and to say to the criminals, enough is enough. We are coming for you. And it's not only government this time, it's all of us in Gauteng. We're coming for you. It's unacceptable. We can no longer accept lawlessness in our province, on our roads, and everywhere else.
And that's how we wrap up this episode of Focus On with myself and the team from CNBC Africa. And until next time, goodbye.